Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. was not trying to save Tupac Shakur when he asked Frank Alexander to lie about some fake chain snatching at the MGM Grand. If he was trying to save Tupac Shakur, he would have sent the 5 security guards that Suge Knight requested prior to the shooting. This failed attempt to put the carriage in front of the horse instead of the horse in front of the carriage, it's not going to work. Let's get into some of this straight game.
Blackjack. Life is like those cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy Delray Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button notification as it pushes the content out to more potential subscribers, as well as the people who have already subscribed. And if you haven't, please subscribe yourself and tell a friend. And what I always like to say is, if this is your first time viewing the channel and you would like to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, please do me a favor and hit the bell notification right below this video. I'm going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, we've heard the video that I made that Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. and Gullible John copyright claimed illegally, as it was a video based on the fact that it was part of the fair use doctrine of the copyright law, right? Since I made that video, Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. and Gullible John have now tried to come and do Monday morning quarterbacking as to how Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. was trying to save Tupac in Vegas. By actually telling Frank Alexander to lie about some chain snatching. There's a lot of chain snatching going on. You know what I mean? You know, these guys supposed to have millions of dollars, you know, or Suge, and I know, you know, there's a lot of just chain snatching lies and things like that going on. You know what I mean? It kind of makes you wonder, you know, about, you know, some of the people that you're dealing with. Chain snatching. You know, I want you to understand chain snatching. You understand what I'm saying? And we all know that that didn't happen. That was an actual lie. But the lie that they've been telling recently is despicable. And I want you to understand, listen to this. You have to understand, at the time that Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. is claiming that he told Frank Alexander, or suggested that Frank Alexander lie and said that somehow Orlando Anderson was trying to snatch Tupac's chain and Tupac was trying to make a citizen's arrest. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? All of them police officers and sheriffs inside of the MGM that night. But let me move away from that, because that's lie number one. Tupac trying to make a citizen's arrest and wouldn't be trying to defend himself from somebody trying to take something from him after the situation in New York, where he was actually robbed of his jewelry. Correct? Lie number one. Lie number two is the fact that when Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. admits that he lied, right? So from there on, he can't be trusted with anything. You know, the Tupac is in the hospital already. Tupac is under sedation, right? And from all attempts at anything, right? When Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. actually suggests that he, by his own words, suggests that Frank Alexander lie about that, Tupac is in a coma. Tupac is sedated, right? Not knowing what's going to happen from that particular point, correct? And so now, by that being what that is, the condition of Tupac is unknown. So therefore, to say that he was trying to somehow make a citizen's arrest or something like that, from that perspective, as if the MGM Grand cameras did not capture each and every move and thing that went on. That's how you know Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. is lying. He's saying that if the shooting wouldn't have happened, there would have never been an investigation. He doesn't know that. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know that that's not going to happen. He doesn't know what the prosecutor in New York is going to do. He doesn't know what the news organization is going to do, if they're going to go ask the MGM for the cameras and so on. He doesn't know any of that. This is an attempt at Monday morning quarterbacking and acting as if you know something that you could not actually predict. I told y'all they wouldn't have. You don't know what they would have investigated. The fact of the matter is that you got to tell us in that same video that he just made why Tupac and Frank Alexander had to catch a cab to the MGM. Once again, Reggie the Rat Wright Jr.'s failed security company, they failed to protect Tupac Shakur. I've already ran you through it, but this is another admission as to how lax the security was. And I told you guys one time before, if there were adequate security, Tupac would have never been able to go and listen to anything that anybody's saying in anybody's ear, overhearing it, or anything else. Frank Alexander said that he was standing next to Tupac when somebody allegedly came up and whispered in Tupac's ear. Right? And so I choose to believe Frank. You know what I mean? You can choose to believe who you want to believe, and I'm okay with that. But more importantly, you have to understand that if there was an adequate security presence there, Tupac would have not been able to run and attack anybody. There wouldn't be no reason to tell any kind of lie after the fact. You see all of these lies that are being made up after the fact? You got to pay attention to what's going on. Suge Knight has said it out of his mouth that he asked Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. to bring 5 more security guards for Tupac. And Reggie did not send anybody. This is a fact. If we're going to Monday morning quarterback, well, let's hike the ball. First and foremost, once again, if there is adequate security from the Luxor in some kind of black vehicle, van, limo, or what have you, to a Mike Tyson fight, Tupac Shakur, the biggest hip-hop artist in the world at that time, is catching a cab. And don't give me, well, that's how real Tupac was. No. Tupac is a business asset at that particular point and is supposed to be protected as such. This is how you know that there was negligence. There was the fact that Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. had been fired. He was upset. Michael Moore has already told us that Reggie told him to go to the MGM Grand. Why was Frank Alexander the only security guard on Tupac that night? Why was he allowed to catch a taxi to the MGM Grand when all other celebrities on the status of Tupac are arriving in limos and Suburbans and so on and so forth at that particular time? As we see what Biggie got shot in, right? A Suburban. That's how you're supposed to roll, with your security, unfortunately. May Big rest in peace. And so when you deal with these facts, you go back to Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. and his failed security company. You can't go no further than that. And like I said, once again, so at the time he explains that he's telling Frank or asking Frank to lie as if the MGM Grand cameras did not catch everything. The same way that they tried to go and get the brother Orlando Anderson to come and testify that Suge didn't kick him when it was on camera. So you now have Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. trying to claim, right, that he's this smart cop, that he's this a seasoned police officer, right? Then why would you have somebody come testify in court to something that allegedly didn't happen that's actually on camera? And rest in peace, Baby Lane. Rest in peace, all parties involved. Because it was unfortunate. It was unfortunate. And so when you deal with that fact, once again, you have Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. coming now trying to Monday morning quarterback and change the dynamics or the actual facts of history. And look, you can tell when he's lying because his eyes open wide and he get closer to the camera. And now, once again, he's back to insulting his subscribers and saying, well, if you don't believe me, then y'all can get off my channel. Well, come on over here to Straight Game, because we ain't going to deal with nothing but the facts, unbiased. Like I said before, at that particular time, nobody knew what the police was and wasn't going to investigate, what the MGM was and wasn't going to do, what the media was and wasn't going to do. And furthermore, from that perspective, what the prosecutor in New York, if they even got wind that Tupac was involved in something violent, would have went and tried to subpoena the tapes from the MGM Grand. None of these things Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. could predict. But if you believe him, he was this super cop, well respected, and so on and so forth. No, that's not true. That's not true as per his recent history. He's a failed drug dealer. He's a failed money launderer. He's a failed former head of security that allowed Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight to be shot at and Tupac Shakur to be killed that night because his security company did not do its job. That is a fact, not only from my mouth, but from the mouth of the person who was the CEO of Death Row Records at that particular time, Mr. Marion Suge Knight. You can't run from these facts. You can't try to put lipstick on that pig and say she's a beauty queen. No, it's a pig. And that's what it is, and that's what it always will be. I don't care how much makeup you try to put on it. You understand what I'm saying? So when we deal with these facts, we're gonna understand what's now being attempted to be done by Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. and Gullible John. I've showed you on 5 different occasions where they've lied. 5 different occasions. They lied about the check once again. They lied about Yasmin Fuller. Reggie now is admitting that he lied and told Frank Alexander to lie because he's somehow this brilliant, seasoned career detective. No. That's not who you are. We're not going to believe that. You're not going to change the history and the facts of this matter. Like I said, when he's asking Frank Alexander to lie about some chain snatching, right? Tupac is in a coma. They don't even know if he's going to make it. So when you go talk to the police, tell them this. Reggie wasn't even there. He was at the Club 662 by all accounts. Right? And not only did Frank say it, but Michael Moore said it. He was the reason that they didn't have any kind of weapons or anything like that. They didn't even have a guard license. They weren't licensed at all to carry weapons in Las Vegas. The thing that was supposed to take place prior to even going to Las Vegas, if you have a legit security company. I know some people who do it, right? Who can carry their guns interstate, you know what I mean, from state to state, because they get that clearance, or they have that clearance already, that work for private security firms, celebrities, and otherwise. So you got to understand, the Monday morning quarterbacking now, don't believe it. Don't believe it. The question that has not been answered, Once again, you got to know that on Bomb First, that they're over there cherry picking these questions that they ask. They never ask real questions involving what went on, what's going on. That was the reason that Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. and Gullible John felt the need to try to discredit me. It didn't work. It won't work. Because you can't discredit facts. I'm trying to come at this thing unbiased. Yeah, you don't like what I'm saying. Okay, cool. It does not change the facts of what I'm saying. You might not like it, but it doesn't change the facts. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? So if we're going to have a constructive dialogue, if you will, right? One must understand that if you lied in the beginning, you lied about Yasmin Fuller, who's a 70-year-old black woman, former Black Panther, right? Your credibility is zero. You, Reggie the Rat Wright Jr., actually took Yasmin Fuller's son down to the police station to talk to the police in Las Vegas. And that was one of the other reasons that she was mad. I would be mad too. You taking my son down to the police station without my permission to talk to the police when he probably wasn't even brought up like that to speak to the police at all. But you're coercing him to go down and then talk to the police? You understand what I'm saying? See, these are the things that happen, and these are the things that Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. is now trying to run from and trying to change the facts involving history and what actually happened. That's why Yasmin Fuller was mad. Wasn't about nothing he said or something. You took that woman's son down to the police station and talk to the police without her permission. Right? But he would come up with all of these other fake reasons and lies and diversionary tactics and things to try to get you off the trail. That's why they copyright claimed my video, exposing how Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. actually felt about Tupac after he was fired. When they actually used some of my content, right? I didn't copyright claim them because I know that word for word and fact for fact, you can't do nothing with me with this microphone and these facts. You know that too. So now that's why it's been the attempt to try to discredit everything he said. Call him a groupie. Call him this. Call him that. Say he's this. Say he's gay. Say him and Dr. Dre are lovers. What? Preposterous. You understand what I'm saying? He's tried everything that he possibly can, and it has not worked. The reason why, as I tell you all the time, lies run sprints and the truth runs marathons. And that's what he's failed to realize. You can go back over the videos. Some of the videos now they've tried to put into this little program where you have to be a member of the channel. Yeah, no, that was because Straight Game came on the scene and we pushed them over into that corner. We can't allow these people unless they pay to see the lies or pay to see the contradictions in the lies, right? We need you to be a member to the channel. So now you can't just go over there and look at a video and then compare it to another video where Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. lied one time and then he came back and tried to cover up for the lie, but then he told two more lies after the first lie he told. So like I said, at the end of the day, no. The reason why Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. told Frank Alexander to lie had nothing to do with Tupac Shakur and him saving him from going back to prison. Had nothing to do with that. He wasn't trying to save Tupac Shakur, because if he was trying to save Tupac Shakur, he would have sent those 5 security guards that Suge Knight had asked him to send him prior to the shooting. And that is a fact. You know that, right? One thing comes before the other. It doesn't work the opposite way around. But if you keep listening to the lies, oh, you won't figure that out. But guess what? I'm going to keep bringing you the straight game. Your boy Delray, straight game.